Marlins Baseball and Sun Sports brought to you by your Southeast Toyota dealer. Get all the quality and reliability of a Toyota during Toyota's Best for Less sales event. Toyota, moving forward. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. By Dolphin, carpet and tile, guaranteed lowest prices on quality flooring. Oh, the water taxi. Too bad it doesn't connect to Landshark Stadium. Marlins and Braves. Pencils ready. Here we go. Braves are hot right now. 15-8 in July. 3 over. Tied with the Fish. And their lineup looks this way. Some hot hitters in there. And Nate McLeod, of course, the former Pirate. Martin Prado has won the second base job. Chipper Jones has been hot, and he always hurts the Fish. Brian McCann's been hot. So is Garrett Anderson. Yunel Escobar is having a breakout season at shortstop. Casey Kochman, one of the best fielding first basemen in the game. Ryan Church coming over from the Mets. And Jair Jurgens has been unbeaten in July. Here's Ricky Nolasco.
Been a while since Ricky has started against this Atlanta Braves team. It was last July. Went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs. I mentioned it's not been a good matchup for Ricky Nolasco. 1-4 in his career against Atlanta. And beware of Escobar, Chipper Jones, and Brian McCann. 3 hitters who've had success against Ricky Nolasco, but he's been pitching well. He's been terrific since his stint in the minor leagues. 5-2 in his 9 starts in his return. See how the defense sets up tonight. Behind Ricky Nolasco, Chris Coughlin, Cody Ross, and Jeremy Hermita's gone the last 74 games without an error. Here's Bonifacio and Hanley on the left side, Uggla and Cantu on the right side. In the hot hitting, John Baker behind the plate.
It's Tuesday night. That means Email Tuesday. Our email wrangler working hard right now. Ask.themarlins@fox.com. Ask.themarlins@fox.com. Send us your questions. Michael Hill, the Marlins general manager, will be on. You can send him through your PDA, your BlackBerry, your iPhone, whatever you got. Michael Hill will be on in the 5th inning. So if you've got trade questions, Marlin front office questions, send them our way. We'll get as many on as we can tonight. Boy, it's our first look at Nate McLeod in a Braves uniform. His total numbers, and of course he came over from the Pittsburgh Pirates for 3 prospects. Nolasco throws the strike, and it's 1-1. It's been so long since the Marlins have seen the Atlanta Braves. McLeod has already played 42 games for them, and it seems like it was just 2 or 3 weeks ago that he was traded.
The type of thing, too, Rich, with the scheduling the way it is, when the Marlins saw the Braves last, they weren't as good a ball club as they are now. They've put it together. They're healthy. They have a few new additions.
McLeod is one of those new additions. Ryan Church, of course, coming over from the Mets. Maybe the biggest addition, though, has been Tommy Hanson, their young stud pitcher.
And that's why this is such an important week, I think. A good Braves club. Bobby Cox feels good about the way his team's playing. And then Lou Piniella brings in a hot Chicago Cubs team.
2-2 coming from Nolasco. Oh, snapped off a good breaker. Ricky punched out 10 in San Diego in his 5-0 win in just 6 1/3 innings.
Well, a good start for Ricky, and I'll tell you what, he's going to have to make pitches like this all night because he's going to be dealing with a lot of left-handed hitters. Now, Martin Prado steps in. He hits righty, but with Chipper Jones, the switch hitter, McCann, Anderson, Kochman, Church, a lot of lefties in the lineup tonight.
Here is Prado, who was sort of a utility guy when the season started, but Kelly Johnson played poorly, and Prado played so well that he won the job at second base, and he's been outstanding. I mean, look at his numbers, hitting at .315, and that's obviously not a full season because he didn't open the season in the starting lineup. He's got 33 hits in the month of July. That is tied for second in the National League.
Yeah, hitting near .340 for the month.
Prado is 25 out of Venezuela. Breaking ball stroked into center. Ross eyes it and makes the catch. So 2 quick outs for Ricky Nolasco. Our weather brought to you as always by Mikasuka. Come play our way. Isn't this nice? 86 degrees. Humidity not so bad. The thing we like, Tommy, the forecast. Partly cloudy. Last couple of homestands have just been miserable with rain delays, rain shortened games, all of that.
Actually saw a long weather report for this week, and the weekend looks pretty good too, even better.
Here is Chipper, and he pulls one on the ground out to Ugla. And Velasco cruises through the first. We go to the bottom half. Marlins and Braves opening a very large 3-game series.
Vía SAP y es presentado por Taco Bell.
All right, kids, here we go on an email Tuesday night. The Marlins come in with the same record as the Braves, 51-48, having won 5 of 6 on the West Coast. Chris Coghlan leads it off. Emilio Bonifacio's at third. Hanley had a very good road trip. Cantu has driven in runs in 4 consecutive games. Jeremy Hermita's in the 5 spot. Dan Ugla hits 6th. Cody Ross is 7th. John Baker's bat hot in the month of July. And Velasco hits 9th against that man, Jair Jurgens.
Jurgens having a terrific month of July. He's 4-1 with a 1.93 ERA. He beat the Marlins earlier this year here in this ballpark. Went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, a couple of runs. Good fastball. He's around the plate, uses his changeup very well, and a slider, a little breaking ball to go along with it.
Coghlan stands in, 7 hits on the road trip. 2 of them were home runs. And Jurgens fires a fastball for a strike.
We talked, Rich, about the new look Braves. Chris Coghlan giving the Braves a little new look Marlins.
Here's the 0-1. Coghlan went after a high fastball, and he pops it up out back behind the mound. And it's Chipper Jones that makes the catch. Jurgens' last trip to South Florida for him was good. For the Marlins, not so much. 7 innings, gave up just 2 runs.
Yeah, look at the line. Only 3 hits. Beat the Marlins 4-2 in that game. He's coming off an outstanding performance against the Giants. 7 2/3, gave up 3 hits and a run. 9 strikeouts to the Giants.
His ERA at 2.67, a 9-7 record, which means his record could be even better than 9-7. Bonifacio takes a fastball for a strike. Bonifacio in the 2 spot. Has not had a good year against the Braves. The Marlins really haven't seen all that much of the Braves, believe it or not. And that fastball misses outside. The Braves and Marlins will see a lot of each other, certainly, from this point forward. Here's the 1-1. That one's popped foul and out of play. In the month of August, the Marlins will start a series, a 4-game series against the Braves here, and then travel to Atlanta on that last road trip of the season. There's Carlos Tosca running the ball club tonight in Freddie Gonzalez absent. Freddie, I'm sure, hidden away in his office or somewhere else watching. So if you're watching, Skip, welcome to the show.
Carlos, an even 500 record as a manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. 191 and 191.
Never really had a lot of support up there
No.
in Toronto in terms of payroll, but had a couple of good seasons. Just the fact that, as you noted, he was an even 500 speaks to competing in that division with the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. At the time, the Rays aren't, or were not, the Rays of today.
Well, you talked about Bonifacio, just 4 for 25 earlier this year against the Braves.
And he yanks that one into right field for a base hit. Bonifacio aboard with one out. Hanley coming up. And here's the defense for the Braves. Pretty good.
Yeah, let's check out that defense. The veteran Garrett Anderson, not a lot of coverage in left field, but McLeod will take care of that. Ryan Church, we've seen him. He's in right. Chipper and Escobar on the left side. Martin Prado. Casey Kochman has played 123 consecutive games as a Brave without an error at first base. And Brian McCann's behind the plate.
All right, here is Hanley, who has hit in 8 straight. Had a very good road trip and, of course, leads the National League in hitting. And comes in with 65 runs driven in. Jurgens misses.
The one thing about Jurgens, he's around the strike zone for the most part.
And one of the big differences between Jurgens and Nolasco, Jurgens pitches to contact, whereas Nolasco can be a strikeout guy. Not that Jurgens won't strike you out, but for 23, and he's only 23, the Braves people say he's extremely mature.
How about right-handers hitting 195 against him?
There goes Bonifacio. Got a good jump. McCann's throw is low, and Bonifacio swipes it.
I like that little early aggression and getting to scoring position for Hanley Ramirez, and Hanley's hitting 427 in those situations. So good jump, beat the throw of McCann. 19th stolen base of the year for Bonifacio, and he's all primed for Hanley to try to drive him in.
Let's see how Jurgens attacks him now. The 1-1 came in, and it's 2-1. With runners in scoring position, we've seen these two shortstops at the top of the list for about 2 months now. Escobar just in front of Hanley. It's been a breakout year for the Cuban shortstop. The 2-1. And it's fouled back. Now, Jurgens, remember, he shut down the fish, but he did not shut down Hanley Ramirez. Because Hanley in that ball game dropped the hammer on him twice.
You know, the thing we've seen, and I think the first swing there was a great indication. Hanley's driven in so many runs and has hit so well with runners in scoring position because of base hits and home runs we've seen the other way.
Jurgens misses outside, and they count full 3-2. And the Braves, they have been hot. Atlanta, 15-8 in July. As you see Cantu on deck. This is the second stop of a Braves road trip, which ends here in South Florida. It started in Milwaukee, of all places. They won 2 of 3 against the Brewers. Hanley got a fastball, and he fouls it into the seats.
They're on one of those road trips that we all have. And when they looked at the schedule, they probably said, how'd they mix up Florida and Milwaukee on the same trip?
That's a fashion dilemma waiting to happen when you pack your suitcase. 3-2. Bounced it up there. Hanley takes it. And now Cantu comes up with first and second.
You know, it really looked like with first base open, Jurgens was trying to make a perfect pitch. Didn't care if he walked Hanley. He went off speed on that last pitch.
And you know what, Tommy? That's to be expected from here on out, because everybody knows that Hanley is driving in runs at well over 400 with runners in scoring position. So it will present opportunities for this man, Jorge Cantu, or whoever's hitting in the 5 spot, be it Hermida, Ugla, Ross, or whomever. And a fastball from Jurgens. He can dial it up when he needs to. That one came across at 93.
And that's why, Rich, talking about what you just said, Marlins fans want to see Cantu stay hot with men on base. Jeremy Hermida catch fire. Dan Ugla get on a nice little roll. Then the thinking changes toward Hanley Ramirez.
Got great speed on. Bonifacio at second, Hanley at first. Cantu takes outside, and it's 1-1. Cantu against Jurgens in his career just 2 for 11. Jurgens is 2-1 against the Marlins, but his ERA is over 6. One of those wins, of course, we told you in May. Cantu, little check swing right side, and Kochman will pick it up and tag him out. And so Bonifacio and Hanley move up 90 feet apiece. Not much gets by that man, Casey Kochman.
You know, I mentioned the 123 consecutive games as a Brave. He's gone 153 consecutive games overall before he was traded from the Angels to Atlanta without making an error.
Ask.the-Marlins at Fox.com. Ask.the-Marlins at Fox.com. We'll throw out our ceremonial first email momentarily. And remember, Michael Hill will be by in the 5th inning for all of your trade inquiries. Hermie takes a strike, and it's 0-1. 4 straight for Hermida. Hermida fouls it back. Sometimes, Tommy, we talk about shifts in a Ryan Howard sense and how dramatic it is. This is kind of a subtle shift. Outfield playing him towards left center, infield pretty much straight up.
Sometimes you'll see that a hitter will maybe pull balls on the ground, but when he goes in the outfield, will hit it straight away or the other way.
Nice opportunity here in the first. Checked. I think he checked it, and I think that's what Hermida right now is saying to home plate umpire Jerry Meals. But there was no appeal. Meals said swing right away, and the Marlins lose that opportunity. first inning ended, and we didn't have a chance to see the replay. And I think Hermida may have had a decent beef. This is the look from out front. You can see the bat. There's lots of movement, but the one thing that Hermida did, as you watch from this angle, the head of the bat really doesn't strike at the ball. He kept his hands out front.
So as the rule states, did he attempt a swing? But the fact that it was called by Jerry Meals, the home plate umpire, he didn't ask for help.
I think that's the beef that Hermida has. And
he wanted a little help.
It's legitimate, because as we watched it, that was not a decisive swing one way or the other. That's a call that's much better, or easily, or made much more easy if you are at third base.
However, I've never seen it overturned if the third base umpire gets involved.
Let me unfold my tongue. Here is McCann.
You started to confuse me.
I confused myself. McCann, Anderson, and Escobar for the Braves. Brian McCann, the only All-Star for the Braves, and no argument here. He certainly is one of the best catchers in the game. In fact, the package of offense, defense, you're talking a pretty small class. McCann, Joe Mauer.
You're talking about some of the guys that have had success against Ricky Nolasco. This is the tough part of the lineup. He's gotten rid of Chipper with 3 career home runs, Escobar 500, and McCann with 2 career home runs over 350. And the McCann shift is on with Hanley, the lone Marlin, on the left side. Dan Uggla, shallow right field. But again, the outfield's about straight away. So that kind of goes with what you were saying in the Hermida situation.
McCann hits that ball in the air to right. And Hermida looking up. Almost twilight here. Makes the catch.
It's a little tougher around 8 o'clock.
Construction on the new Marlins ballpark is underway, and now's your chance to secure seats for today and in the future with the all-new Marlins Pick 15 plan. Pick any 15 games of your choice. Establish your new ballpark seating priority, 1-877-MARLINS, or visit marlins.com for more details. Another left-handed bat. And a guy that's playing much better now than when the Marlins saw him early. He was still trying to get, I think, his feet on the ground. New team, new league.
Yeah, and he had some early season injuries. So Garrett Anderson, who's just a proven hitter, has gotten it together. And while he's hit 377 his last 15 games.
Nolasco shook his head on that one. He wanted the 0-1 pitch. Here's the 1-1 coming to Anderson. Ah, nice.
Good changeup. He's thrown a couple of nice changeup, and that's a pitch when you talk about making an adjustment maybe to a team that has hit you well. And that's a pitch there are times Ricky doesn't have. He'll go with the fastball breaking ball. That was a good changeup to Anderson.
1-2 is inside. First email question comes from Patrick in St. Cloud, Florida. 2 questions. In light of Hall of Fame weekend, who do you think will be the first Hall of Famer to wear a Marlins hat? And with the trade deadline approaching, if you could improve one aspect of this team for the stretch run, what would it be? Ball's in the air, shallow right, and Jeremy is there. So there are 2 outs. I think the first, I'll take the first question. I think the first Hall of Famer with the Marlins hat will be Gary Sheffield.
Yeah, but will he go? Yeah, he told us. He told us in New York. He told Craig in a post-game interview that he would go in. If not Gary Sheffield, you'll have to wait a little while. It'll be Hanley Ramirez.
All right, now the trade deadline question. One aspect of this team for the stretch run, what would you improve?
Well, let's see. We can give our answer. I'll give my answer, and then maybe we can save this also for Michael Hill when he comes in the booth.
Escobar takes the inside.
It's an interesting question. A few weeks ago, I undoubtedly would have said a hitter. But now with Andrew Miller down in the minor leagues, having had struggles, maybe a starting pitcher.
This is a tough play for Bonifacio because Escobar runs well. And it's a base hit for Escobar. An infield single for the young shortstop of the Braves.
Well, the old swinging bunt, really no chance for Bonifacio, who made a good play, good attempt. Got rid of it quickly, just offline. I like the way Jorge Cantu came off the bag to get the throw.
I would still stay in the hitter camp. I think the Marlins.
Okay.
I think the
I'm fine
Marlins
with that.
could use a bat somewhere, anywhere. It has to fit in the right spot. And I think one of the hard parts is it can't really be a first baseman. Obviously, it can't be a shortstop. But if the Marlins could add just a spark to the lineup.
And you're thinking one perhaps with a little pop.
Yes.
Okay.
Here is Kochman. Casey Kochman, a line drive hitter. And a letter high strike from Nolasco. It's 1-1. It's obviously a question that you'll ask Michael Hill. I suspect it's easier to find a bat now than it is a starting pitcher.
Because everyone is looking for pitching.
There's Mike.
So we'll be able to chat with Mike in the, fifth inning? Yes.
Primed and ready to go. 1-1 coming to Kochman. Little number back out to the mound. And Nolasco makes the catch. Ricky's given up a hit, and that's it so far.
Thank you, Rich. Earlier in the pregame, we talked about our Name That Marlin giveaway, and hopefully you're following us now on Sun Sports, Fox FL on Twitter, so you can have a chance at winning a signed baseball from a Marlins player. Here's the clue for tonight. We'll do this throughout the series here, okay? The Marlins pitcher has given up 1 home run in 9 career appearances against the Braves. 4th inning shot, Brian McCann, September 2006. This Marlin pitcher, 1 home run allowed in 9 career appearances against the Braves. It was a 4th inning homer by Brian McCann, September of 2006. Name that Marlin. Take your best shot. Tweet us who you think it is. And the first to tweet us with the correct Marlins player will win a signed baseball from that player. All right? Here's a hint. It is a pitcher. All right. Good luck. We'll have the answer later.
Happy tweeting. Here's Ugla with Ross and Baker right behind him against Jair Jurgens. Ugla's power numbers against the Braves has always been a curiosity because Dan hasn't had the best of averages in his career against Atlanta, and yet he always seems to hit some big homers against them. If you look at Ugla's year this year, he's had the big average, but no home runs. You look at his career, average-wise, Uggs has hit 288, but has hit 14 home runs. And he pulls that one foul, and that's in 43 games.
You know, sometimes you just feel comfortable against certain teams, certain pitchers. And I think the good addition to that is that there were some nice signs on the road trip of Dan Uggla swinging the bat.
Early in San Diego and the Sunday in Los Angeles. On Sunday, homered, had a couple of hits. Jurgens thought that was a strike. This was the big breaking ball that he hit out. That was home run number 17. And Jurgens misses away. The count runs full at 3-2. Cody Ross, then John Baker. Marlins left a couple on in the first. Jurgens got Cantu to pop out and struck Hermida out on a check swing. That left Bonifacio and Hanley out there. 3-2 pitch. Uggla went out, strokes it to left. Anderson ambles back, and he makes the catch.
Pretty good pitch by Jurgens. Your Dan Uggla. Most hitters, especially early in a game like this, probably aren't going to see that off-speed pitch. And he threw a good one to Dan and got him reaching on it for the fly ball.
Gabe from Weston with this email. Huge Marlins fan. Truly believe Marlins have a legit shot at the playoffs, or at least a wild card team. Why is it that the Marlins are not pursuing Roy Halladay? We cannot afford to let the Phillies pick him up. I'm upset that the organization sits around and does not make a move. And apparently from Gabe, Roy Halladay is the guy. I think, and we discussed this on the road trip, there has to be a fit. You have to have or be willing to part with what the Toronto Blue Jays want for Roy Halladay. What the Blue Jays want is a young, or one or two young starters that they can put into their rotation next year. The Marlins have that, but they're pitching here for the Marlins. So
yeah, I think Toronto, as much as they would like an offensive player, they really need to fill the void in pitching.
Yes,
by getting rid of Halladay. They have some good young pitchers, but they need to get pitching in return, starting pitchers.
That's why Jay Happ.
So I don't think you're going to give him Josh Johnson for Roy Halladay.
No, that's why Jay Happ and Kyle Drabek are on their wish list in their talks with the Phillies. The Marlins' top prospects are position players right now. Ross slices that one to right field, and coming in is Church. Ball kind of died on him. So, and Gabe, we appreciate the question, and we will ask Mike Hill about his thoughts on the Roy Halladay sweepstakes. But it's not a real good match in terms of what the Marlins have and what the Blue Jays want. Here's John Baker.
And all that being said, I think any team would welcome Roy Halladay into their rotation.
Bake's hit in 5 straight and has had a outstanding month of July. He's hit .375 in July. That is tops amongst National League catchers. I think that's tops amongst a lot of National League players. Our Geico quote is from John Baker. You couldn't ask for a better road trip. 6 games would have been fantastic. But when does that ever really happen?
Not too often on the West Coast.
(1-1) and Baker fouls it back. Of course, the Marlins swept the Padres, took 2 of 3 for the Dodgers. The Dodgers lost to St. Louis last night, and they're up against Adam Wainwright with Chad Billingsley going for the Dodgers tonight in St. Louis.
Yeah, Chris Carpenter with a nice 7-inning performance, gave up just 1 run to the Dodgers.
Phillies will face Dan Herron tonight, but they've got Cole Hamels on the mound in Arizona. That was a pretty good pitch. I think Baker's fortunate that he was not rung up.
Yeah, Jurgens kind of bouncing around on the mound. Ball had some movement and came back. Bake jackknifing out of the way, but the ball was very close.
Well, Bake knows the drill. Anything close, he's swinging. It was close. He swung, and he fouls it back. Tommy talked about the Cubs and how hot they are. They've won 5 in a row.
Playing well. Got a big 13th inning walk-off grand slam from Soriano last night.
Who did all sorts of wacky stuff on his way around the bases in that grand slam. 2-2 coming to Bake. To the dirt.
So Josh Willingham could have done wacky stuff twice.
Yeah, what a contrast. Hammer hit both grand slams, put his head down, ran the bases. Soriano hits the grand slam, points to his family, does the can't feel my face sign, going around third, all kinds of stuff.
Can't feel my face.
I think that's what that's called. Where you and I'm trying to describe it, but if you could show us in the booth.
You might have to get on camera for that can't feel my face sign.
Yeah, well, it's full count, there's 2 outs, so it might be a little difficult. I'll give it to you, though. Bake needs to foul one off here for us.
There you go.
All right. So Soriano, he's running, and as first thing he does, he hits the ball, and he points to his family. As he's coming around third, he's doing this. Is that can't feel my face or can't see me, son?
Can't see me, sir.
Okay. You didn't know that. Our producer knew it. Here's the 3-2. Big drives into center field. That turned McClout around, but he finds the ball and makes the catch. Emails. We'll get your emails when we get back. Scoreless game. No score, third inning. The next edition of Inside the Marlins, we take an in-depth look at Josh Johnson. We'll track his career through the minor leagues to the major leagues, his debut in 2005. We'll look at his rehab from Tommy John surgery. Inside the Marlins, Josh Johnson premieres Saturday at 10 on Sun Sports. For a preview of the show, log on to sunsportstv.com and click on the Marlins link.
And by the way, Josh Johnson will be pitching tomorrow night against these Braves, against Kenshin Kawakami.
Nolasco, Ryan Church, Jurgens, and then Nate McClout. See, I'm getting conflicting reports on Soriano's gesture. There are a few stories, news stories, that say it's I can't feel my face, and there are a few stories that say it's the you can't see me. So we're going to have to ask him when he gets here on Friday night exactly what he meant by that. Maybe Lou Piniella would be able to shine some light on it.
Yeah, Lou would be able to tell us. No, it's interesting. Another guy who's always, of course, it's a kind of a trade-off because Frank Coeur now is in New York. And Frank Coeur always had good numbers against the Marlins.
Yes.
Ryan Church, 9 career home runs, right around 270 in his career against Florida.
Three and one.
I think that was kind of a lateral trade. Both teams, I think, satisfied with what they have now. Frank Coeur's getting some hits for the Mets.
Yeah, kind of a change of scenery for both guys. Church is now at first. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Counts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins.
Well, the walk sets up the sacrifice situation for Jurgens.
Pops it up, and it's over Bake's head, and it rolls to the screen. Nice work by the RoboCam there.
This is something over the years that Braves pitching has usually done a pretty good job at. Of course, you go back to the Glavine and Maddox and Smoltz days. They were all very good bunters. It's something the Braves have done pretty well over the years.
Bake on his way out to the mound. Isn't it fascinating how in the course of a month and a half, remember all the turmoil that was going on when we were in Atlanta. Obviously, Smoltz was out of there. He had headed to Boston and he was rehabbing, getting ready to return to the big leagues. The Braves had just released Tom Glavine after he'd gone through his rehab. Braves watched him in 2 or 3 minor league starts and decided he didn't have it and did not pick up his $1 million contract. And Frank Wren was taking a lot of heat for that. Bake tantalizingly close to John Baker. But you look at what Frank Wren has done, the trades that he's made, McLeod and Church, bringing Hansen up when they brought him up. And he's done a masterful job of putting Bobby Cox and the Braves in a position to win.
Yeah, Tommy Hansen, the young right-handers, 5-1, has pitched well.
Vasquez and Lowe and Jurgens. Little chopper. Bonifacio will go to first in time, and Jurgens finally gets one down.
Pretty good jump by Church, because I think Bonifacio thought about second base because he got to that ball quickly. But Church got a good jump, and you also consider the point in time of the game. It's early in the game, so you want to get outs. So Bonifacio went over to first base to get the out.
Here is Nate McLeod. And McLeod coming over from Pittsburgh. It was a blow that the Pirates team and their fans really felt when McLeod was dealt. For 3 young players, they may turn out to be pretty good big leaguers, but that's a hard sell in Pittsburgh after all the losing seasons.
I think one of the things that eased the pain a little bit was the quick start, and he's still right around 290 that the young center fielder they brought up, Andrew McCutchen, has had a good influence on that club.
McLeod line drive center field. Ross, a sliding pick. He didn't catch it, and the Braves have runners at the corners. I think Cody originally caught it on a hop and then was going to try to sell it as a catch. But the most important thing was he kept it in front of him.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he got to it. No, he short hops it, but he's going to try to hang it up and sell it. Second base umpire Paul Emmel, I don't know if he'd have bought it, but it was an easy buy for Emmel after the ball popped out. And so McLeod gets the hit. Church had to hold, so he only gets over to third base.
Well, you've got a couple things going now. You got first and third. You've got Prado, who's a hot hitter. But McLeod is one of the best base stealers in terms of percentage at first base. When he runs, he usually makes it.
Yeah, he's only been caught 1 time, 15 out of 16 this year. Had 23 stolen bases for the Pirates last year. Prado also a good number 2 hitter. He spray the ball around. Look at the career percentage of Nate McLeod in stolen bases. It's incredible.
One of the few catchers to throw him out in his career, Matt Trainer. And I believe
he broke a long streak,
yes,
that McLeod had at one point.
And some of those caught stealings are getting picked off by a left-handed pitcher, which does not go in the column of a catcher. Breaking ball, foul back. Ricky's made some good pitches. Counts 1-1.
Looks like he's also concentrating on trying to be quick to the plate to kind of change things up for McLeod at first base.
Giovanni Soto and Matt Trainer are the only 2 catchers to throw him out. The other 4 caught stealings have been by pitchers. High fastball, and it's fouled back.
You know, the one thing Ricky has done so well since his return, before tonight, 59 in the 3rd innings, 13 walks and 68 strikeouts in the 9 starts since his return. So he wants to shut things down. He doesn't want that leadoff walk to church to come back and bite him. Braves a tough team to pitch to. They don't have a lot of guys with high strikeout numbers. A lot of guys very similar in their strikeouts and walks.
Just missed. Nolasco aiming for the corner.
Good pitch, though. If you're going to miss, you want it just off the plate inside. Man, that was a good pitch. Very close. You don't want it to drift the other way. A lot of guys get rung up on that pitch.
Let's see if McLeod is moving. Ricky thinks so.
Yeah, if 2-2 he doesn't go, for sure he'll go 3-2 with 1 out.
Prado waiting. You got Chipper on deck. Church is the runner at 3rd. McLeod still anchored at 1st. Marlins on their road trip did a lot of things well. One of them was actually hold runners and throw runners out. John Baker gunned down a couple on the road trip.
Got to be a strike. You see the puzzled look on the face of Mark Wiley. Man, boy, those are good pitches.
Three-two coming. Runner on the move. Breaking ball fouled at the plate. Tommy, you talked about being tough to strike out. Mets, Astros, Braves, fewest in the National League.
You know, you talk, Rich, about John Baker. I thought a key part in that game in L.A., even though the Marlins had a big lead early, was when Baker threw out Juan Pierre trying to steal. I think at the 3rd inning.
We do have your emails in mind. But oftentimes in a situation like this, you don't want to drop an email in a 1st and 3rd 1-out situation. So hang with us. McLeod is running. And a shot in the left. The Braves have the first run. McLeod has to stop. Coughlin's throw is behind him. And he's back in there.
That's too bad because Ricky made some great pitches. And finally, Prado waited till one got more of the plate. And that leadoff walk does hurt Ricky Nolasco. But we told you, Prado, very tough to strike out. On the year for Martin Prado, just 26 strikeouts.
All right, here comes Chipper. Gizmo in Orlando has this question. A quick shout out from the MarlinsBaseball.com site. He has a Gabby Sanchez question. Been on the team for a week now. Doesn't have an AB or even a defensive appearance. If he's not getting any playing time, why call him up when he can be fine-tuning his stuff in AAA? Chipper takes a knee-high strike. Well, I think that there comes a time where you're trying to win ball games, and if you feel that having his bat at your disposal for a week and a half will benefit you, you do it.
And I think that's another good question for Michael Hill. I agree. I think we all thought we would see Gabby Sanchez play, but when we realized that wasn't the reason he was brought up, it was really just to solidify, add a little more presence to the bench.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. When you think about it, the Marlins just went 5-1 on the West Coast trip. So
with a lot of guys hitting, the question would be then, where would you play him? Who was the email from?
That's from Gizmo.
You know, Gizmo, you make your suggestion. You going to take Jorge Cantu out of the lineup? Cantu's hit in 11 of his last 12.
Chipper fouls that pitch back.
This is an inning, and especially against this Braves ball club, because there are not many breathers in the lineup. So you don't want this inning to get away from you. So Ricky has to make some good pitches, and he's got tough hitters coming up.
Leadoff walk. Sacrifice bunt, couple singles. See McClout out there at second. 2-2 coming to Chipper.
Yes, good pitch.
He went around.
Not too often, and especially against the Marlins, not too often have you seen Chipper look bad on a pitch. So Ricky fooled him, snapped off a good breaking ball, and got Chipper to commit. And yep, if Hermida swung, Chipper Jones swung.
Well, that was
a lot more of a swing.
5 times the swing of Hermida's. So there's 2 outs, and it's not much of a breather after Chipper. Now you've got McCann, and as Tommy noted, he's along the murderer's row against Nolasco personally and against the Marlins in his career as well. He had some eye issues in early parts of the season. Actually took him out of the lineup for about a week.
That's right. The last time we saw McCann, he did not have the glasses.
That can't be easy, especially catching in Atlanta or playing games here. We see pitchers struggle with glasses. Kevin Gregg, Brendan Donnelly this year. You know, glasses steaming up. Think about being a catcher.
You have that mask on.
Mask on, behind the plate. Danny way back. Hanley can't move over too much with runners at first and second.
And you have to keep your eye on McClout at second.
He's got the good breaking ball working, and it's 1-2.
First 2 innings were very efficient for Ricky Nolasco. He only threw 9 pitches the first inning. 25 here in this inning. So the Braves have made it work here in the third.
One, two coming. One and two. Nolasco's pitch count has rocketed up to 51. Jurgens sitting at 41. Outside corner. Nolasco strikes out McCann. Those are two big strikeouts, two tough strikeouts. Chipper Jones and Brian McCann, leaving a couple runners out there. Braves get a run and lead it early.
Thank you very much, Rich. One of the topics I know you're going to address with Michael Hill is the Marlins offense, which is kind of scratched your head a few times this year. It's been inconsistent. They've shown some very good signs, like this stat that stands out among National League clubs. This is very impressive. Only the Dodgers and Phillies have more players with 50-plus RBIs so far than the Marlins, 4 with Uggla, Cantu, Ross, and Hanley leading the way. But that 257 average is 12th in the league, and yet they're 6th in runs, middle of the pack in home runs. But I think overall you just haven't been able to rely on the offense game to game, and that's maybe the issue, where maybe they'll add an offensive piece here right in the mix of the wild card, and maybe if the Phillies struggle, get a shot at first as well with these Atlanta Braves. But it has been a different type of offense. Some guys coming on too, like Emilio Bonifacio, and Herm struggled a bit as well. But what do you make so far? I think that might be the big issue. I have to agree with Rich, the offense coming down the stretch.
Well, we'll ask the man in charge, Michael Hill, for sure. Ricky fouls it back.
I don't know if Michael's going to commit, play his hand out there like that, but who knows?
No, but it's always interesting to talk to a general manager around the trade deadline. Nolasco rips it to the wall. It goes. Let's see how frisky he's feeling. And not too. He made the turn at first and looked up with anticipation and saw Garrett Anderson had already gathered it in.
That's like ripping one in his backyard off his brother David. Just a line drive on a hanging breaking ball. Look at this. Nice swing. I think Ricky thought about 2. Most others will get a double because Garrett Anderson doesn't move that well in left field either.
We saw his brother hobnobbing with Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Last time we were at Dodger Stadium.
He fit right in at Dodger Stadium.
Here's Coghlan. Jurgens now a little upset that wasn't a strike. You know, both pitchers have thrown pitches that have looked like strikes that have not been called.
Right now, it looks like Jerry Meals can handle the pitch on the outer part of the plate and maybe give a pitcher that one, but not the one on the inner part. And he's kind of gone with both pitchers on that, so hey, that's the way it's going to be.
You know what? If that's the strike zone for the rest of the night, then amen.
Now the Braves capitalized on a leadoff walk, See if the Marlins can capitalize on Ricky's leadoff base hit.
Good changeup, 84, and Conklin with the count even now at 2-2. We've had a few emails about the Baden-Hop Jeff Weaver incident. Michael in Weston wants to know, why wasn't Jeff Weaver fined or suspended? He was fined. He was not suspended. Coughlin hits a fly ball out to center, and Nate McLouth is there, makes the catch. Ricky back to first base. On Sunday, this homestand closes, and it's a 5:05 start against the Cubs. The first 5,000 fans on a family Sunday get a Marlins duffel bag courtesy of Doctors Hospital. Kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash. 1-877-Marlins.
You know, it's don't they have a rule in the NHL? You would know better than I. You know, the instigator, the guy who starts things, usually doesn't get penalized. It's the second guy in. And that's basically what happened in the situation in Los Angeles.
Yes, and the ejection of the manager, a lot of fans want to know why the manager was ejected as well. That's automatic. After a warning, if a pitcher hits a batter and in the umpire's mind is throwing at that batter, it's automatic ejection for the pitcher and the manager.
And we've talked about Baden-Hop, 3-game suspension. I don't know if Burke's going to appeal it. I don't think so. Freddie cannot, a manager cannot appeal a suspension.
No. The managers don't have a managers association. There's a little shot in the left field. That's a base hit. Bonifacio is 2 for 2. Nolasco goes station to station for him.
That's good to see, because we talked about it during Emilio's first at bat, how the Braves early in the year kind of held him in check. Well, he's had 2 good swings tonight, a base hit to right field, picked up a stolen base, now hits this ball well, and those 2 swings right there are just perfect Bonifacio swings. What he needs to do with more consistency.
Marlins had a couple runners aboard in the first and couldn't get them home. Now they've got Hanley up with runners first and second. Jurgens buries a breaking ball. That's a strike.
Well, let's see, breaking ball, change up. He's not giving in to Hanley. If he throws a fastball, this may be one of those situations, and you talked about it. Every so often he'll get the fastball 2 or 3 miles an hour faster.
He has a little extra if he needs it. Hanley drives that ball to left and hits it deep. Going back is Anderson. Looking up, and it's bouncing off the wall. Nolasco will score. Bonifacio is right on his tail, and the Marlins have a 2-1 lead. Off the bat, Garrett Anderson, I don't think got a clean look at that because he didn't break on the ball like it was catchable. He broke on it like it was going to be off the wall.
Well, we're getting close to that twilight time. It looked like another changeup. Either that or a fastball. Didn't have a whole lot on it. Hanley had a great swing. Got under it just a little bit. Now we're at that twilight time. Anderson may not have picked it up right away. And again, he's not real mobile out there in left field.
Cantu swings at the first pitch in the air to right. Church is under it.
But once again, Rich, Hanley Ramirez, runners in scoring position, coming through with a big base hit.
Well, the 2 guys that are out at second base right there, Escobar and Hanley, have been going back and forth, leading that category for the last 2 months.
Well, you saw that Hanley with 29 doubles. Cody Ross has 27. Cantu has 26.
Here's Hermida now. Jeremy angrily left home plate after he was rung up by Jerry Meals on a check swing. Slaps that one foul. It's 1-1.
Nice to see the Marlins answer back after that run the Braves put up there in the top half of the third.
Hermida pulls it foul. Lisa in Delray Beach. When Freddie is suspended from sitting in the dugout, is he allowed to phone in directives to the acting manager via cell phone or text? I imagine him in the clubhouse watching the game on TV and making judgment calls on a remote basis. Not from a remote location, but on a remote basis. 1-2. There are no electronic devices allowed.
So Carlos cannot have a phone to receive text messages on.
In the bullpen or in the dugout, you cannot have cell phones, pagers, wireless phones, texters, laptops. 1-2.
I think Freddie feels, now this isn't to say somewhere down the line during this game there might not be some message relay, but I think Freddie feels totally comfortable with Carlos Tosca on the bench.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Jurgen strikes out Hermida for the second time, but the Fish are on the board, and it's Hanley Ramirez that does it. 2-1 double, 2-1 lead. Two-one ball game, and the Duck. Where did he go? Usually he comes in with music first, but apparently he's eager to get this 3 games.
He's all out of whack. He's still on West Coast time.
Wants to get it going. All right, 2002. Name the Brave whose club record on base streak was broken at 52 games. So you're going to 2002 Braves. David Justice on that team?
No.
Long gone by then?
I think he was gone by then.
Garrett Anderson is up. Chipper obviously was there.
Yeah, any offensive Braves question, you got to think Chipper Jones right off the bat.
Andrew Jones might not be as consistent at getting on base, since that's what the streak is about.
Hey, this will be a nice inning, and so far he's made some good pitches to Garrett Anderson for Ricky to get it right back together and have a 1-2-3 inning.
line, driving to right center field.
Boy, that's just good hitting. We've talked about Garrett Anderson, the quality of hitter that he is. Ricky got ahead, tried to bury a fastball in, got it in, jammed him. Here comes a fastball in, and Anderson just gets enough of it. And that's why he's almost a 300 career hitter in over 15 seasons.
Here comes Escobar. So Lisa and Delray, hope we answered your question. Of course, maybe the most famous manager getting tossed, sneaking back into the dugout, was Bobby Valentine, who put the mustache and glasses on. If Freddie were in need of a mustache, and like if Freddie wanted to do that and he couldn't find a mustache, you know where he could find one tonight?
Where?
First base. Right there.
Oh, the best.
Bill Hahn.
Behind the plate tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a big night tomorrow night.
How great would that be? Obviously, umpires travel around, and you never hear of an umpire bobblehead.
Bill Hahn bobblehead night. You'd have to get the mustache to bobble, though.
Yeah.
Escobar slaps it into center.
Well, we told you Escobar came into the game 5 for 10 against Ricky. He's now 7 for 12 against Ricky Nolasco.
Kochman is coming up. Albert wants to know, would you like to see Major League Baseball switch to a Questec type contraption for calling balls and strikes? I think there's a way it could overrule, obviously, bad calls made by umpires. Ricky's had 2 questionable calls go against him that directly led to the Braves' run tonight. And that's Albert's question. Well, I think as we've pointed out, the strike zone has been tight both ways. Jurgens has had a few pitches that he's felt he should have had, and Nolasco as well.
As much as I like to challenge the umpires occasionally, I would not like that. It takes the human aspect out of it. And for the most part, as we point out, for the most part, they do a terrific job. I think that's different, and that differs a little bit in the decision making, such as a Bob Davidson in that case in Los Angeles.
Right, that's the human element.
Yeah.
That pitch right there, I think, was one that Albert at home would have called a strike, and maybe Questec as well. Although Questec is no longer in use. That was the terminology used for what was essentially a grading system that Major League Baseball had set out for the umpires. Now it's a similar system, but it's I don't think it's called Questec anymore. One and two. 2-1 Fish. Hanley's 2-run double.
Well, one thing, with the base hits, with the long inning in the third, the Braves are getting Ricky Nolasco's pitch count up. And that's the other thing without the availability of Burke Badenhoff.
Chopper, Ugla catches, tags, throws to first. And get just the one out. And the Braves are set up with runners at the corners, 1 out for Church.
Just not a double play type ball. I thought a good play by Dan Ugly to catch and tag, because the runner was right on him. Escobar was right there, and he was able to hang on to the ball. He tried to complete the double play, but it really wasn't a double play ball.
The best thing Ugly did there was plant himself in the baseline, because in that case, with the ball coming to him, if Anderson arrived before the ball and made contact with Ugly,
double play.
Not sure double play.
Yeah, I think they have to assume, they can't assume a double
right,
play. Yeah.
But Anderson would be out automatically. So it's Church
Third. You'll go right behind her.
Anderson and Kochman at the corners. The trade for Jeff Francoeur, I think, was a fascinating one and surprised a lot of people. That you would trade outfielder for outfielder. And the Mets had, I don't want to say soured on Church, but weren't all that happy with his performance. The Braves certainly were not happy with Francoeur's performance.
So I think, as you said earlier, a change of scenery trade.
Church fouls it off, and it's 1-2. Ricky Nolasco can get his record over 500, and that's saying something after the start that he had. HD tomorrow, HD on Thursday. Battle of the V's on Thursday. Vasquez and Vandenhert. JJ tomorrow. 1-2. The changeup that got away. We have an email from Jorge in Miami Beach. Jorge feeling we were a little too tough on the Bees in San Diego. Here's the 2-2. Might be two. Got one. Got two. Nicely done. Nolasco wriggles out of trouble in the fourth. And the Marlins hang on to a 2-1 lead. Brought to you by Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONEY. By Checkers, Little Place, Big Taste. Corona, official sponsor of the timeout. And by Largo Honda. Still no Sharks. Still 2-1 thanks to a Checkers double play rolled by Ricky Nolasco.
Yeah, I really like the way Hanley Ramirez came and got this ball. We talked about Hanley's defense. It has been terrific this year. He came to get it right away because it wasn't that hard shot, that hard double play ball. It is our Checkers double play. And then he turns, gives a nice flip to Dan Uggla, who turns it over to Jorge Cantu. Ricky really loved it.
Marlins go back to work against Jurgens. They left two in the first, scored two in the third, and Uggla fouls one back. Yeah, we have an email from Jorge, who was a lot more educated on the bee population than we apparently were in San Diego. We showed you the shots of the bee scare in San Diego and the guy that came in and essentially exterminated the bees. Jorge pointing out that the bee colonies are becoming scarce. and a huge percentage of the world's bee population is disappearing. Scientists don't know why. Other than that gripe, he says, you guys are the best.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Jorge.
Yeah, he finished it off good.
He did.
Okay.
He finished strong.
He's getting a little worried there.
Here's the 1-1.
I'm going to start honing up on my bees.
Up and in. Well, as we showed you, Jorge, in San Diego, they wiped all the bees out. But when it happened here, the bees were gently vacuumed and transported.
I think they sucked them up and then blew them out somewhere.
Yeah, just press reverse on that shot vac. Jurgen steps off. Uggla fly to left. And change up from Jurgens there. It's 2-2.
Rich, we've been talking about, you know, the new look Braves and certainly the Braves seeing Chris Coghlan for the first time. You realize the last time the Braves were here, just a 2-game series, the Marlins started Graham Taylor and Anibal Sanchez.
Uggla swung at a bad pitch.
Yeah, he's upset at himself. You can see that. And chase that pitch up in the zone.
Much more proper entrance by the Duck this time. Brave club record on base streak was snapped in 2002. Who was the Brave? Not Rico Carty, but Gary Sheffield.
Rico Carty.
Dusty Baker. Davey Johnson. Cody's up and he takes outside. Raquel in Weston. That name sparks a smile for any man that grew up in the 60s and 70s, doesn't it? Ross fouls it back. How come batters don't swing in 3-0 pitches more often? It seems to me that this count is the best count to get a fastball over the fat part of the strike zone.
Well, you would if you knew you were always going to hit it right on the screws and get a base hit, but that's not always the case.
There's some hitters that say they don't like to swing at 3-0 pitches, and some that obviously hit them and hit them well.
And there's some real smart pitchers that'll take just a little bit off, call it a BP, a batting practice fastball. So now you're out in front of that 3-0.
Jurgens racking up the strikeouts. He has punched out the last 3 that he's faced, and he's got 4 total.
Just making perfect pitches. He couldn't have gone up and put it in McCann's glove in a more perfect spot.
Baker now, Zach and Boca. We watch the Marlins every night. Would like to know how many others are with us. What are the TV ratings for the games? It's not an app on Tommy's iPhone. He's unable to pull that up.
Can't pull that up, yeah.
But quite well from what we've been told. The Marlins usually are in the top third in baseball. Baker over the top of the mound, and it crawls up Prado's arm. That could be a base hit.
Yeah, that's not an easy play, because for Prado to complete the play, he has to pick it cleanly. And keep in mind, he had to come a long way to get to it, and then turn it over to first base. He got that in-between hop. It crawls up his wrist and arm. And John Baker gets himself a base hit.
That's what clean living will do for you, Bake.
We like that call.
There comes Nolasco. The Marlins television ratings last year were in the top third of all of baseball, and from what we've heard again this year, the ratings are strong and are in a similar situation. That's one of the dichotomies of this organization, is that people watch a game from the outside and they see 60 or 50,000 empty seats, and they think nobody cares about the Marlins. And what fans at home, and what we know here at Sun Sports and Fox Sports Florida is that there's a very large community of followers that follow the team.
And we were impressed at the late night audience we had on the West Coast.
Very good late night.
Thank you very much.
A lot of people up a lot later than they should have been. But that's okay. As long as you fill out that little Nielsen diary, we're happy with that. On top of the Braves in the 5th, Michael Hill, general manager of Florida Marlins, on an email Tuesday night, joins us. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing well.
We have a variety of questions for you. And we'll throw out the first one that arrived in our mailbox tonight was about Roy Halladay, a fan wanting to know why the Marlins weren't involved in the whole Roy Halladay thing. We said probably because the Marlins don't have.
Who says we're not involved?
Ooh.
Oh, something to think about there
Really?
for our viewers.
Now you
there.
just got us going.
All right, give us the dirt then. Here's Jurgens at the plate. What's the gauge the Roy Halladay situation? It's been the most written about possible transaction leading up to the trade deadline.
It's one of those things that's been public. One of the best pitchers in the game right now, and it's obvious why there's a number of clubs in baseball who would love to have him. So, from that standpoint, it's pretty obvious that anyone would love to have him in their rotation.
I'll tell you a guy that would love to have him, and that's the guy that's managing your ball club tonight, who did manage him in Toronto, Carlos Tosca.
No question, and we don't like to talk about other people's players, and that happens sometimes this time of year, but we saw him when we went up to Toronto, and actually he went on the DL after that start. But I think that the track record, the history, what this player has been able to do is without question, and definitely if you're able to do it, which is a tall task in itself, you're adding a very good pitcher to your club.
If there was one area that you guys are looking to improve, I know you're always looking at every scenario and never shutting the door on any possible deal. What's your number one priority?
Well, I think Larry and I have feelers out in all facets of the game, looking for areas where you can improve the ball club. And I think ultimately it'll come down to what you're able to do. And you need a partner, and it needs to be a fit to get a deal done. But if there is something that we feel collectively as a group that makes us a better club, we're going to look at it, be it rotation, be it bullpen, be it our offense, our defense, whatever that area is. If we feel it's going to make our club better, we're going to look into it.
There's a tremendous amount that goes into it, isn't there? Much more so than people think, who throw out all these trade situations in conversation.
Definitely, there's so much involved with actually getting a trade to go through, and we've been pretty good at making trades over our history here with the ball club. But as you said, Tommy, there's so many things that go into it, and ultimately it has to be the right fit for both sides in order to get something done.
Hanley is over, and McLeod is out number 2. Michael, the technology today as opposed to 10, 15 years ago obviously is a quantum leap. Fans now with the Twitter, with the internet, with blogs and all of that, they can almost follow along minute by minute. Do you guys ever look at that in terms of information?
Well, we look at everything, and with the...
I mean, do you, in the morning, you log on to see if someone got traded or if something's happening in the afternoon? Where do you find that information?
Well, if you guys had flashed to me during the game, I have my computer set up.
We did. We saw you.
Oh, yeah.
And
Larry was on the phone or texting somebody.
And that's just part of the routine now, the technology age now. There's so many things at your disposal, and there's too many websites to discuss that I go through on a daily basis just looking for information, because in this day and age information is power, and you just want to make informed decisions, and that's what we try to do.
So any general manager is available quickly, where in years past that wasn't the case.
Definitely. Between email and text message and everything, you should be able to get to anyone.
All right, stick around. We got just a long list of questions for you.
And I want to talk about Hanley's defense.
AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. 2-1. Bottom of the 5th. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Michael Hill, the general manager of the Florida Marlins, is with us. Chris Coughlin stands in. Tommy, I'll give you the first shot here in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, we had two things with Chris Coughlin up there, but I had mentioned Hanley's defense, and Rich and I have talked about it. Hanley's played a solid shortstop this year.
No question. And that's something that from day one in spring training is something that he wanted to improve upon. He prides himself on being a good defensive shortstop on top of all the other things that he does well. And I think you see that day in and day out with the work he puts in pregame, during early work, just to make sure that he is one of the better defensive shortstops in the game.
And real quickly, before Rich gets the emails, Chris Coughlin came up, had a nice little impact, kind of his leveled out.
No, I mean, Tommy, you can speak to this, and you probably have. You know, this is the highest level of baseball in the world, and you're talking about the best
Coughlin
players
yanks
in the world.
one to right. It's deep. And it's off the wall.
We like that leveling out.
Yeah, how about that adjustment?
Yeah, he hit 2 home runs on the road trip.
Nice level swing.
But that's something we talk about so much with young players and making the adjustment at the major league level. And we're talking about the best players in the world and young rookies making adjustments at this level, and it's not very easy to do. Tom, you can speak to that, to how difficult that is.
And that's what's incredible. And we've had the opportunity in a couple of players when you see what guys like Miguel Cabrera and Hanley Ramirez have done as young players, just stepping in. Yeah.
Well, and even Miggy, and he had an adjustment period. When he came up in June of '03, there was an adjustment period to the big leagues and what that represented.
Bonifacio, chipper's throw. Oh, he looked safe. Bonifacio. Wow. Bill Hahn rung him up.
There was a little juggle on the part of Chipper Jones. As soon as I saw him do that, I anticipated Bonifacio beating it out. I think he did, but I don't think the Marlins get the call.
Wow, it's bang bang. It's hard to tell. He is. I think the throw got him.
It's bang bang. And we're talking about one of our favorite umpires, Bill Hahn. A bang bang play.
Bang bang.
But a great job by Bonifacio to get Coughlin over to third.
Did his job.
Now Hanley's up. Infield creeps in. Fastball's fouled back. So Bonifacio does get a sacrifice on the play. Hanley drove in 2 in the third, and he walked back in the first. We have a variety of emails for Michael Hill, including one in Spanish.
Oh.
0-1. Hanley fouls it back. Hasta que hora te quedas despierta esta semana?
What time did I wake up this morning?
I think it's how late will you be up this week? Maybe I didn't.
Hasta que hora te quedas despierta esta semana? Oh, this week.
Yes.
This week. This week is, it's one of the most exciting weeks in baseball, and we're going to be working the phones, and we have Dan Jennings and Jim Fleming in town with us, and we're working. We're working to see if there's something out there to make us a better club.
To confirm this, I think a few years back, it was midnight. Now it's 4 o'clock Eastern.
Yes.
On the 31st.
Yes, it is. So there'll be a lot of long days and long nights this week, but this is what we're here to do, to try to help this club get over the hump here and play into October.
Hanley takes outside. Edel from Miami Beach, big Marlin fans. What about a trade for a power bat like an Adrian Gonzalez to protect Hanley in the lineup? Marlins can give up guys they've got on the roster right now. Hermida, Cantua, Sanchez. Edel apparently a big Adrian Gonzalez fan with good reason. He's a terrific player.
Oh, he's a good player, and we just left those guys. We just left the West Coast, and we got to see Adrian Gonzalez firsthand, a former Marlin who we traded back in 2003, but definitely a good player. And the one thing that we're trying to do, and to speak to that email a little bit, where we are right now, we're trying to add to this ball club, and we think that we have a very good ball club right now. And the one thing that we're trying to do is to add to that mix to hopefully get us where we need to go, and that's into the playoffs and playing deep into October.
Here's the 3-2. Hanley swings and misses. Big strikeout for Jurgens.
Well, he made some good pitches. He missed with the previous 2, and then came back with either a breaking ball or changeup, but got Hanley to go out of the strike zone just a little bit.
Now, speaking to that question, it brings up an interesting point, and as you describe it, you guys are trying to add to the mix. Might you have to subtract from the current roster to add to it?
Well, sometimes that's what it takes to make a deal happen. But ultimately, you're trying to use that depth that you've worked so hard to create in the minor league level. Use pieces that may not necessarily affect your current club or the future plans, and not hurt you too bad. And that's the one thing why you can never have too much depth, because you're always trying to find ways to make yourself better, and unfortunately in this game you have to give to get.
Is it fair to say that your organization's best or closest to the big league prospects are position players rather than pitchers right now?
Well, we have a number of position players performing down in New Orleans right now at AAA. Most of our young pitching, we've seen some of it here this year already.
Chopper to third, Chipper to first. You got another half inning in you?
Sure. For you guys, no problem.
All right, because we've got a lot of emails we got to get to. Jurgens escapes, still 2-1. Two, Braves 1. Ricky Nolasco and Jair Jurgens matched up. Tough part of the lineup for Ricky. Chipper, McCann, and Garrett Anderson. Michael Hill kind enough to hang with us for another half inning. And Ricky delivers. Breaking ball that's hit in the air to right. Back goes Hermina at the wall. He's done it again. Chipper Jones got a hanging curveball, and he ties the game.
For Chipper Jones, Rich, career home run number 38 against the Marlins and number 4 against Ricky Nolasco. We just had the Hall of Fame weekend this past weekend. Someday we'll be sitting around watching Chipper Jones make his speech as he takes that hanging breaking pitch a long way.
Looked like he was waiting on that one. He was sitting on a sitting curveball there, and Ricky threw him exactly what he was looking for.
13th of the season for Jones. So here now is McCann. It's a 2-2 ball game. All right, Michael, this question we've had a couple of times. Please ask Michael Hill why Gabby Sanchez was brought up to simply sit on the bench, especially during a stretch in which the New Orleans club was suffering through a very long losing streak and could have used one of their best players.
That's a good question, and that's not something that we normally do as an organization. Our prospects are our future, and we rely heavily on our young players, and normally when we bring young players, we want them to play. In this particular situation, we were looking to add a right-handed bat to the lineup, and that was something that Freddie and the staff had really wanted, and knowing that that bat was not going to get a number of at-bats, we wanted to bring the best one that we had in terms of our right-handed bats available to us. And we figured in the form of Gabby, he's one of our best players. And if anyone could handle this role, not this is going to be his role long-term, but for however long he is here, we felt like Gabby could handle it.
Pugla from way out in right field throws out McCann.
I think an addendum to that is that the Major League club's more important than the AAA club.
Exactly. I mean, that's what they're there for.
It's unfortunate that they're going through a bad streak, but that's...
Yeah, and I think with this question, they know how we operate, and
yes,
we know that we like to keep our players develop and get them at bats, and it's not helping, in this particular emailer's mind, it's not helping one of your prized prospects to sit on the bench, and that was the rationale. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Anderson fouls it off. Joe from New Jersey. Question for Mr. Hill. What is the process general managers have to go through in order to get a trade approved once they agree on players?
Well, the approval process, it can mean so many different things as it relates to consummating a deal. There could be approval for money, it could be approval medical, it could be approval from your ownership. So there's so many different levels of approval that you sometimes go through in order to complete a deal, and that's just some of them.
Here's the 1-1. Where do you go to find contract information? There's been a lot of questions about that. When you start to make a deal, is there a Major League Baseball database?
Yes, there's an electronic baseball system that we have access to that has every player's contracts, the terms of those contracts, bonuses, awards, all of the things that we need to know in order to know everything about that contract. Exactly, the duration of the contract. So before we even start to entertain possibly acquiring a player, we have all that information in front of us. We know what that player may or may not have remaining on his contract moving forward. And it just helps you, as I said earlier, make informed decisions about what you want to do.
How much of what the Marlins will do in the next 3 days is what you plan to do, what you react to? Say if the Phillies, the Rockies, other wild card teams or East teams make significant deals, do you guys react to that, or do you stay on the course that you've set right now?
No, I think our sole objective is what is best for the Florida Marlins in the short term and in the long term. I don't think we ever lose sight of that, and sometimes you can get caught up in that stuff, but that's something that we've done a pretty good job of avoiding. I think we try to make deals that make sense to us, and something that we feel makes us a better ball club, because that is our goal.
Was that the case last year with Manny Ramirez, when the asking, according to reports, the asking price was a guy like Mike Stanton? You balance the short-term gain against the long-term
No question.
pain?
That is something that you always have to evaluate, and it's not always easy when you're trying to make deals, and when you're talking about great players, it makes it even more difficult. When you're talking about changing things, chemistry, things to your club, you have to be very mindful of all of those things, because sometimes the best trade you make is the one you actually don't make.
So it's a lot more difficult to be a general manager now than 30 years ago. With one-year contracts.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the dollars, and you can probably speak to that as well. So the dollars have changed so much from when you were playing to what we're dealing with now. And that's something that that you always have to be mindful of as you try to build for the present and for the future.
Hanley Ramirez approaches. Michael, thanks for the visit. If you could give us, will the Marlins make a deal or won't they? Give us a percentage.
50-50. How about that?
Nicely done.
Florida Marlins Baseball está disponible en español vía SAP y es presentado por KFC.
Our Spanish broadcasters join us now.
Rich, Tommy, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
All right, guys. How you doing?
Hey, when you guys were talking to Mike, they don't trade announcers, do they?
No, he said that we were all untradeable.
Awesome.
Not that we were.
Though he has had some feelers.
He has
on
had
Cookie.
feelers out. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because
wow.
Not that we were untouchable. We're untradeable.
Many people feel Cookie can still hit.
Not even ping pong.
1-1. This is what we expected, guys. A well-pitched game. Jurgens and Nolasco.
Well, both of them, I think they've done a great job. And it's going to be interesting. And Mr. Chipper Jones always, makes us pay back with that home run to tie the game. But we're playing good baseball right now, good defense and good pitching, and that means a heck of a lot for this ball club.
Well, that's a good point. The club made just one error on the road trip and got some great starting pitching, and that'll win you a lot of games.
Absolutely, Tommy.
Y el swing falla ahí, Jeremy Hermida.
2-2 the count. Guys, have a good show.
You too, guys.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Sí, señor.
Cookie and Raul. Hermida has been baffled by Jurgens. Kochman bottles. Jurgens is there.
Well, we talked about Casey Kochman and the stretch that he has going, 153 consecutive games without an error. Came pretty close right there, but stayed with it.
All you can eat and drink for one low price. The Marlins all you can eat seats, hot dogs, peanuts, nachos, sodas, all from the comfort of your club seats. Next all you can eat night coming up on Friday. The Cubs, the Marlins and the Cubs, and all you can eat. What could be better? 305-626. Save. Here's Ugla now. Dan has flied out and struck out. Gets a hold of that one, rips it down the line, and it's off the wall. Ugla around first. Anderson's got a good arm, and he's in there. Boy, he came close to sneaking that one out.
Yeah, he was going into the Alex Gonzalez territory, but I thought once it got to that territory it'd be enough, but hit on top of the wall. Very close. And you mentioned it, Garrett Anderson doesn't have a lot of mobility, but once he gets to a ball, he has a pretty good arm. But Dan Ugla with a one-out double.
Now Cody Ross is coming up. Ed in Homestead writes, I have no doubt that the Marlins have a large fan base that follow the team through TV. I used to go to the ballpark for about 30 or 40 home games, but fell victim to prostate cancer in December, and I'm unable to attend in person. I definitely appreciate the fact that the Marlin games are televised and enjoy your broadcasts, especially Tommy. There's a drive to right. Ugla's going to tag up. Church makes the catch. Uggs digging for third. Church, whoa, throws him out. Ryan Church throws out Dan Ugla. And the Marlins' sixth inning ends quickly. Opportunity. Dan Ugla at second. And watch the positioning of Ryan Church. Perfect.
This is a play you can't make yourself do it, but if you go in standing, you're probably safe because you block out Chipper Jones and he doesn't see the ball.
Did you see that at the tail end of that play? Ugla swiped his hand in the dirt.
You know what?
And they got the umpire. Watch this. Watch Ugla. It got the umpire, and watch Ugla. Oh, safe.
Oh, that's sorry.
The umpire said, "Don't worry, Dan."
You know what? You don't want to make the last out at third, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to be safe.
Cantu better hurry. He does. Nice play by Jorge with Velasco covering. On to Craig. What's up, Craig?
Thank you, Rich. I'm with the Camacho family. Great stuff before the game. Sebastian over here, 10 years old, got to live out his Make-A-Wish dream on the field. Going to show you a little footage. He had a chance to have a catch. He had a chance to stretch with the Marlins. He looked like one of the Marlins out there. And his dad, Dennis, is with us as well. And what kind of fun this was for your son tonight?
Oh, this is a whole day experience. It was awesome. I mean, it's a dream for him because he wanted to meet Hanley. And he made his dream come true, and he also practiced with him. He practiced with all the players. He met all the players, took pictures. It was awesome for him.
And you got all these souvenirs too, and
he got about 5 signed balls, and it's going to be awesome.
Sebastian, you had a catch with Hanley, and it looked like you threw it very hard the first time.
Yeah, I did.
What did Hanley say?
He said that, "Watch out, man. You should have told me."
He has a great arm. Diagnosed Hodgkin's lymphoma about a year ago. Here's the great news: cancer-free now.
Cancer-free, yep, cancer-free. Since February. Yep.
In remission for a few years, but good for you. How much fun was this today for you?
Really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And neat for you. I know you guys have gone through a lot, and to get a chance to get out here with your family on the field, and the Marlins were very gracious to have you.
It's a great experience. Great experience. Thank you.
Hanley was taken back by that first throw, but he got the hit too.
Yeah. He got the hit and everything, batting cage, everything.
Turn around, Sebastian, so we can see his name. Stand up for a sec. Turn around this way. He's got the same jersey the Marlins wear at VP. Good going, all right?
Okay.
All right. Good to see the Camachos. A lot of fun on the field today with the fish. Guys?
That's a great story. It's oftentimes people don't get a chance to see that because it happens before the gates are open.
Yes, it does.
Here's the 1-2. No swing. By the way, we didn't get a chance to finish Ed's email. Ed, who is prostate cancer, and Ed, certainly we wish you well in that battle. It's something that Major League Baseball has embraced and supported very well. But he says he likes you, Tommy, because you go on a rant at least one time a night. And he looks forward to that. It keeps him watching. So, Ed, good luck with the battle, and thanks for watching. And if I get a chance, I'll push one of Tommy's buttons and get him going.
And as you pointed out, Major League Baseball over the last few years has done a lot for prostate cancer.
Greg Norton is going to pinch hit for Jair Jurgens.
Yeah, the veteran switch hitter, Greg Norton, after that base hit by Ryan Church.
So Jurgens, even though it's a 2-2 game, is coming out.
He has gotten his pitch count up, as has Ricky. Ricky's at 97 right now. And Jurgens was at 98.
Spritz in Plantation wants to know, in the past decade, the game has really adjusted its defensive scouting to the point where every team shifts a little bit for certain batters in the game. Some are more extreme than others. When's the first time, Tommy, you remember a shift being deployed by a team?
I think the first time I remember, I would have to say, was watching games a long time ago. Willie McCovey saying this. I don't remember Ted Williams. They used to do it with Ted Williams, from what I've read.
That's the first time that I've seen in print where it has appeared that teams really shifted for a hitter, and that was Williams.
And then with Willie McCovey, Willie Stargell,
John Mayberry in Kansas City.
I actually remember seeing a shift as a first baseman. I can remember being the lone guy on that side of the infield. There was a big right-handed hitter with the Pirates named Bob Robertson. He used to pull everything on the ground.
He used to do it with a guy named Cliff Johnson as well, another right-handed bat. You don't see too many teams do that with right-handed hitters. It's always the lefties. Church can run a little bit at first. Ricky out in front 0-2.
Tell you what, Ricky had a little stumble in that third inning when he threw 25, 26 pitches. But he's hung in there, worked out of some jams, got a nice double play in the fourth inning. He'd love to get through this seventh.
As you saw, Norton, the active pinch hitting leader, there were some great names on that list, including Wes Helms.
And Norton with 6 this year, but he's 6 for 41, so he's had a lot of opportunities.
Mike Gonzalez in the bullpen for the Braves. Little changeup, Cantu got one. Hanley's turn, got two.
Beauty.
3-6-3. Nolasco rolls another double play, and Ricky gets through 7 in a 2-2 game. Nolasco gets through 7 with a little help from his friends. Let's take a look at our game summary.
Well, we saw some nice pitching tonight between Jurgens and Ricky Nolasco. A base hit early in the game by Prado, driving in a run. The Braves took a 1-0 lead. That was erased by Hanley's 2-run double. Marlins held on to a 2-1 lead, except for this guy, Chipper Jones, career home run number 421. Double plays have helped out. Jorge Cantu with a nice 3-6-3 double play. And that's one of the reasons the Marlins are better defensively, because of the job Jorge Cantu's done at first base.
Yeah, that's not an easy play at all. And so it's Gonzalez is on the mound. The Braves have some guys down there that have closing experience. The Braves bullpen is almost opposite of the Marlins. The Marlins pen is chock full of 7th and 8th inning guys and not really an experienced closer. Gonzalez is an experienced closer. So is Rafael Soriano.
Yeah, Gonzalez early in the year was closing, actually has 9 saves.
Gonzalez was hit by a line drive on Thursday, came out of the ball game, but then pitched on Sunday and appears to be okay.
Yeah, he's got that, we always talk about it, that kind of rocking motion. Good power slider, fastball. Jurgens, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. Ricky, 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs.
Gonzalez kind of looks like a snake charmer out there.
But Jurgens can't win. Ricky can.
If the Marlins get a run here and hold that lead. Bottom 7, 2-2 game. Ricky's due up second this inning. Got Brett Carroll on deck.
Ricky right at 100 pitches.
Baker into the seats. Cubs are coming to town. The first is a Super Saturday disco night with the Village people. And a fireworks show as well. Marlins and Cubs at 7:10. Rally towel courtesy of AT&T. 1-877 Marlins. Here's the 2-2. Baker is hit. And a breaking ball that comes up and in and hits him. And here comes Carroll.
Well, you identified breaking ball, and Bake just kind of turned and said, you know what, I'll take that off the bicep, lead this inning off, and reach base.
You know what? If you turn away from the ball and then give it a chicken wing like Bake just did, that's fine. Because you've actually...
But if you lean in and give it the chicken wing.
Right. If you lean in and chicken wing it, you won't get it. But since he turned, he was able to sneak that elbow out.
And obviously a KFC chicken wing.
Oh, I never thought of that, but here's a look. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I think if you had a left-hander or a right-handed hitter on deck, maybe we'd see this played out a little differently. But if you sacrifice Bake over, now you have the tough left-hander, veteran Mike Gonzalez, against Chris Coghlan, left-handed hitter. So I think right now, Carlos just giving Brett Carroll an opportunity, but he's falling behind 0-2.
BC and CC. Bonifacio is after Coghlan. And Gonzalez elevates the fastball and strikes out Brett Carroll.
Yeah, something he can do well because he's got a little life on his fastball.
So here's Coghlan now. He is doubled, flied out, popped out. Moylan and Acosta. To illustrate your point, Coghlan against lefties this year is hitting .222. Gonzalez misses up. Ask.themarlins@fox.com is our email address. Rob from Fort Lauderdale wants the Marlins to trade and get Josh Willingham back. Here's the 1-1. How about the day the Hammer had?
Josh Willingham, 2 grand slams last night in a 14-6 win in Milwaukee. 8 RBIs, has 16 home runs now. And remember, early in the year in that series here, he wasn't even playing.
One and 2. Email question: is it the lighting in the booth, or are Tommy and Rich not wearing matching shirts? Was that a conscious decision, or perhaps the laundry is still backed up?
Rich, I beg to differ.
After a long road trip,
we have matching shirts because they both have the Sun logo. Yours just happens to be blue, and mine happens to be green.
Not a conscious effort. The laundry was backed up from the road trip.
And that has been an issue.
Oh, it is. It goes from what are we wearing tonight to just whatever is clean. Two and 2 to Coghlan. John Baker's at first.
See, there we go. Blue, green.
With the painted on smile.
Yeah, our producer makes sure we floss.
High chopper. Over for it is Prado. Coughlin beats it. Wow. Prado made a pretty good play. And I think teams around baseball at times are surprised at how fast and how much speed Coughlin does have.
We've seen him a couple of times surprise infielders with his speed. This was close mainly because of the nice play of Prado. Head first slide, got him there, and he did beat the throw. So an infield base hit, second hit for Chris Coughlin tonight. Good job. Good battle against a tough left-hander.
All right, let's throw some things out here right now. With Bonifacio up, you got the lefty on the mound. If you're Bobby Cox, do you want Bonifacio hitting from this side or the left side? Gonzalez he's a lefty, but he's tough on both sides.
Yeah, if you look at the pure numbers, you'd want to bring in a right-hander. But Bonifacio's got 2 hits tonight, and he swung the bat well, hitting left-handed. So I think he's going to say, okay, this is your first shot as a right-handed hitter tonight. I'm going to keep in my lefty.
He's got 2 righties in the bullpen, and he's got Hanley coming up next.
Well, that's what he's saving the righties for. However, you have a guy who's been a closer and is out there against righties and lefties all the time. So we'll see what Bobby Cox does if it gets to Hanley.
But with 1 out, it's a pretty good chance it is going to get to Hanley. And I guess the question is, if you're going to bring a righty in to face Hanley, why not bring him in to face Bonifacio? Now, see, this is one of the things that baseball lends itself to more so than any other sport.
There's another thing you throw in the mix. As a right-hander, not that you're going to double up Bonifacio, maybe a little easier with him hitting from the right side. He's not going to get up the line as quickly. You factor that in as well. So there's probably 10 things you could factor into this decision.
And Bobby Cox may be thinking, you know what, Gonzalez is my best strikeout pitcher in this case. He's got a better chance to strike out Bonifacio than either Acosta or Moylan.
Even though Bonifacio has struck out more left-handed than right-handed.
Now he strikes him out. Buried it in the dirt. Hanley, with an eye on the dugout, approaches the plate.
Well, the bat that hurt was back in the 5th inning when Hanley had a runner at third. Coughlin was at third, less than 2 out. Had a chance to pick him up with a sac fly, but with some good pitching from Jurgens, he struck out.
Toyota trend, Hanley trending upward at home. His last 15 games at .421. Tonight, 1 for 2. So I guess the question was answered when Gonzalez stayed in to face Bonifacio.
Yeah.
That Cox knew he was going to keep him in there to face Hanley as well.
Bottom line is Mike Gonzalez isn't your typical matchup left-hander in the bullpen.
No, he's a guy that has closed with success in the big leagues.
And Hanley's hitting over 300 against lefties. Obviously against everybody else, but some of the Marlins, as we've pointed out, have struggled against left-handed pitching.
Two outs and runners in scoring position. Hanley third. Against Gonzalez in his career, 0 for 3. 0-2. Oh boy. Mike Gonzalez strikes out Bonifacio, strikes out Hanley Ramirez, and the Marlins and Braves go to the 8th, 2-2.
we go to the top of the 8th. I want to thank all the fans who tweeted in their answer in our Name That Marlin giveaway. The Marlin pitcher, who in 9 career appearances has given up 1 home run, that was in 2006 to Brian McCann, is Josh Johnson, who will be contacting our winner and sending them an autographed baseball with JJ's signature all over it. Don't forget, Name That Marlin giveaway will be going on during the rest of our coverage of the Braves series. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Sun Sports Fox FL and tune into tomorrow's game at 6:30 on Fox Sports Florida for our next giveaway. Josh Johnson, the answer as we go to the 8th.
Raniel Pinto will start the 8th, and he starts at the top of the lineup for the Braves. This is a big series for Pinto. And he hits McLeod.
You got him in there because of some left-handers, and that's not a good way to start. And I'm anticipating what you're meaning by a big series because of all the lefties.
Absolutely. The Braves have suddenly become Philly-like with all the left-handed bats in their lineup. And so the premium on guys that can get lefties out is pretty high when you face the Phillies. We've known that for the last 2-3 years. And now it's that way when you face the Braves. So let's see what the Braves are up to with McLeod at first, Prado at the plate.
They got a few options. Good hit and run man with Prado up there, and good speed at first base in McLeod.
Prado had a big hit in the 3rd, an RBI single. Bobby Cox going through his score sheets. Pinto is out in front 0-2.
A couple of good fastballs. Yeah, and I think you talk about Pinto, same thing for Dan Meyer, the 2 lefties in that Marlins bullpen between the Braves and the Phillies, as you mentioned. Matchups where you need good lefties.
That's in. Bake was set up on the inside part and had to move in just a bit.
Not too many of those have been called tonight. That's a pitch that Jerry Meals has been consistent on.
That line drive is foul.
I don't know if we forgot to mention this is game number 100 on the season.
Michael from Gainesville, in your opinion, if Manny Ramirez were on the Marlins right now, would the Marlins be winning the division? Especially considering the relationship between Hanley and Manny.
Well, first of all, they'd have missed him for 50 games. Let's just be up front with that. So probably not.
Counts 1-2. And he goes up and gets a strikeout. But now the tough part starts with Chipper and McCann coming up.
That's some good fastballs.
Time for the Stay in the Game hold today, brought to you by Just for Man Hair Color. Marlin hold leaders, Nunez and Meyer at 13. Middle relievers can keep their team in the game. You too can stay in the game with Just for Man Hair Color. Chipper's 1 for 3. That one really hurt. Solo homer to right to tie the game at 2.
Chipper Jones has been hitting everybody lately. That's his 4th home run in his last 9 games.
Chopper cut off by Bonifacio and in time to get the out. That is not an instinctive play for a second baseman playing third. And Bonifacio makes it just in the nick of time.
Well, it's a big out. You just want to make sure you get that lead runner. Bonifacio cutting in front of Hanley, got the throw over to Dan Uggla, who becomes a first baseman at this point. A little stretch from Dan. Nice play and very close with the speed of McLeod.
Now, here is McCann. Remember the last time the Marlins shifted over, McCann actually tried to bunt a couple times.
Yeah, I think with a runner at first base, he won't do that.
And the Marlins are able to employ the full Monty, so to speak, on the shift because the runner is just at first. 1-0.
Hello? Yeah, I'll call you when I get out of here.
Pinto with a quick throw over to Chipper's back. Charles in Boca wants to know, will the new ballpark have free Wi-Fi? Heard about other stadiums making websites for the stadium where you can view instant replays and current stats on your Wi-Fi. On your laptop with Wi-Fi. Maybe an iPhone app, Charles wants to know. I suspect the Marlins ballpark will have the latest technology available. One coming. San Francisco, one of the first ballparks to offer free Wi-Fi, which comes in handy around the All-Star break when the All-Star voting gets hot and heavy. We were in San Francisco.
The Pablo Sandoval voting.
The final vote. A lot of fans were busy doing that.
How about the Giants acquiring another bat? They're trying to add a little more offense. Ryan Garco, now a member of the San Francisco Giants, coming over from Cleveland.
Does that mean they will not part with a Jonathan Sanchez? Is that are they done dealing? Is there another place they can add a bat in that lineup?
No hitter kind of changed things for Jonathan Sanchez.
2-2 coming. The count's full now with 2 outs. Carlos Tosca running the ball club. Freddie suspended. Mark Wiley. Craig asked Tosca before the ball game if someone would act as his bench coach, and Carlos, who is the bench coach, said it will be a collective effort.
Kind of a team effort.
Got him. Well, Pinto hit McLeod with the first pitch. After that, pretty good. Going to the bottom of the 8th, 2-2. Baseball Sun Sports is brought to you by Honda South Florida. Visit your South Florida Honda dealers online at sfhondadealers.com. Find a deal on fuel-efficient Hondas And by Prestige Audi, 2 minutes south of Aventura Mall, 18667, my Audi today. Tonight, it's 2-2. Bottom of the 8th. Braves dip into their bullpen a little deeper. Mike Gonzalez was impressive. Peter Moylan will try to follow that act. Moylan with an ERA just under 4. 2-2 here. Tonight in baseball was the return to the mound of Mark Burley. Of course, Burley throwing the perfect game. Dwayne Wise with a great catch to solidify that against the Rays. Tommy, how's Mr. Burley doing tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, through 5 innings, and he does have a 1-0 lead. Through 5 innings, Mark Burley is perfect. Again, not allowed a base hit or a walk. You make sure the White Sox are playing errorless baseball. I believe they are.
Yes, I can confirm that.
All right. Hey, Peter Moylan leads the major leagues in appearances, so he's been a busy guy with that submarining motion. I guess in Moylan's case, you could say down under motion.
Yes, right.
The Australian.
The Australian who won himself a job in the big leagues by pitching in the first WBC for the Australian team. And he was outstanding for him. Cantu fouls it back. He's been around that Braves bullpen ever since. Marlins have had opportunities in a 2-2 game. Jair Jurgens escaped trouble on a couple of occasions. Mike Gonzalez left 2 on in the 7th. Ended up striking out the side. Hit a batter and give up an infield single. Escobar backs up. Fires over to first in time. Cantu is out number 1. And the White Sox are playing in Minnesota. And they're going to the bottom of the 6th. And Burley, that's a tough place to throw a no-hitter, let alone a perfect game, is the Metrodome.
Yeah, good hitter's ballpark. Tampa trying to rebound. They lost to the Yankees last night. The Rays have a 6-1 lead. Put a few runs up on the board against CC Sabathia tonight. That came from the 8th inning.
Hermida didn't like that call. And even though he didn't turn around and yell, you could see him bark.
He's not been on the same page with Jerry Meals tonight.
It's a real different look for an umpire as well as for a hitter, because all of a sudden you see a pitch coming in waist high and you're figuring it's going to be a strike, and because of the submarine motion, it's sinking and diving outside. And then he throws an 81-mile-an-hour changeup.
He used that changeup a lot to lefties, and then that sinking fastball. He'll throw more sliders to righties.
Craig in Orange City asks, why do managers stress having a left-handed pitcher face a left-handed batter out of the bullpen so much? Does it really make that much of a difference? In some cases, yes. We talked about Chris Coughlin's numbers against lefties. We also talked about Mike Gonzalez being able to get right-handers out.
Well, in this day and age of specialization, and certainly you match up with you want to get the odds in your favor. And that's why managers do it. That's why a lot of managers like 3 lefties in the bullpen.
Yeah, because if you have just 1 or sometimes only 2 lefties, the other manager can pinch hit around those guys.
You can think of a left-hander who was very successful and instrumental in the Marlins run in 1997, Dennis Cook.
The Texan.
Yeah, he was also instrumental off the bench. He got some pinch hits that year, too.
Braves have Eric O'Flaherty up. Marlins have 2 lefties in their bullpen, but one of the things that both lefties share is they have an ability to get right-handed hitters out. Raniel Pinto with his changeup, Meyer with his cut fastball.
That's why you'll always see 1 or 2 veteran lefties moved before the trading deadline, or maybe even sometimes in August if they clear waivers.
Marlins did it last year. Arthur Rhodes, who was very effective.
Because that team making a run, whoever it might be, they're going to like to have that lefty, a veteran guy, in their pen.
The Prummels from Deerfield Beach. It seems that whenever the Marlins play another team, there's at least one former Marlin player on the opposing team. Are there any teams that don't currently have or never have had a former Marlin player on their roster? Maybe the Duck has the answer. Here's the 2-2.
Well,
do the Braves have someone that played on their current roster that played for the Marlins?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one. The Marlins have a former Brave, though, in Wes Helms. So you can kind of do that with every team.
Three-two pitch. Hermida lashes it into left field. That's a base hit. Picked up by Garrett Anderson.
That was a nice at bat.
Whoa!
And bad base running.
Whoa! Jeremy Hermida thrown out at first. And there are 2 outs.
That is just uncalled for in a tie game in the 8th inning. Got the relay. Escobar fires back to first. And at first it looked like Bill Hahn said safe. And I don't know if his foot skidded off the bag. He got him. He got him before he got to the bag. Heads up play by the Braves. Garrett Anderson in left wasn't even looking. If you notice in that shot, he was walking back to left field, but Escobar made the heads up throw.
Ugla takes a breaking ball for a strike. Remember, the Marlins had Dan Ugla thrown out at third. Trying to go from second to third on that deep fly ball to the right. And now Hermida is caught napping at first.
To get back to that Braves Marlins thing, how about the Atlanta Braves hitting instructor, Terry Pendleton? You just can't have that happen at this level in a tie game in the 8th inning.
In an important tie game. One and 2 to Ugla. Wow, you talk about a buzzkill. 2-2. rolls around. The Marlins and the Braves walk into this one with identical records. You see the Mets are on top of Colorado, so this is a good night for somebody to move up. If that score holds, then everybody in line in the wild card waiting line can move up a game. Leo Nunez is in, but the Marlins have not done themselves any favors on the base paths tonight. And Carlos Tosca is hoping that his bullpen can stay solid and the Marlins can come to their senses. It's 2-2. Anderson, Escobar, Kochman. Nunez catches the outside corner. Day off yesterday means everybody in the bullpen is available and fresh. Those are Anderson's numbers against Nunez. Except, of course, Burke Badenhop, who was suspended for 3 games and unavailable. The Hopper, I asked him where he was going to be tonight, if he could still be in the clubhouse, and he thought he could still be in the clubhouse, that he wouldn't have to wear some sort of ankle device or anything like that.
Yeah, we have to check on him. See if he goes to the lunchroom.
He's probably busy studying the minor league affiliates and their nicknames for the next episode of Stump the Hopper. Now, the Braves closer is up, Rafael Soriano, and the Marlins closer, so to speak, is in the ball game in Nunez.
Something we see other managers do. You can do it at home. You can bring that closer in a tie game in the 9th inning in a home game.
Two and two. And a chopper that's foul. The Minnesota Twins have put a run on the board and have 2 hits. And so Mark Burley loses his perfect game in the 6th inning and the lead.
Now it's a tie game.
Anderson right field and deep. Hermida back, leaping, gone. Garrett Anderson owns Leo Nunez, 4 for 5, a couple homers, and he sends a changeup into the seats.
Yeah, we've talked about Garrett Anderson, what a tremendous hitter he's been over his long career. And his familiarity with Nunez from the American League. There's the changeup. He stays back, uses his hands beautifully. And it's a long way.
Escobar. Ugla out, Hermida in. One out in the 9th. So the long ball for the Braves tonight. Chipper Jones' home run against Ricky Nolasco. Garrett Anderson's home run against Leo Nunez. And Nunez has to keep his composure here and keep it a 1-run game.
And remember, for Nunez, I know he's had a day in between, but his outing in LA, he came on and gave up 3 hits and 2 runs to the Dodgers in their 9th inning. And you're right about that composure. You have to just regroup quickly because there isn't a lot of breathing room in this lineup.
Broken bat, Hermida races, and he makes a sliding, skidding catch in right field. And there's 2 outs. Nice play by Jeremy.
Yeah, good play because he got a good jump because the bat was broken. And a lot of times that knee dug in and gave a little extra flip. But you sometimes don't get a good jump when a guy has a full swing, breaks the bat because the ball just doesn't travel as far.
Brian Church. Church lays down a bunt. Nunez off the mound quickly and throws a bullet in the dirt that Cantu picks. But the Braves strike for a run on a long ball from their veteran left fielder, Garrett Anderson. It's 3-2 to the bottom of the ninth. Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Tobacco Free Florida. For more information, visit us on the web at tobaccofreeflorida.com. And by The Collection. Love cars? Join the club. The Marlins find themselves in a 1-run hole in the bottom of the ninth because of Batman. And now they have to face Batman. Rafael Soriano is one of the hottest closers in all of baseball. He's 8 of 8 in July in save opportunities. Opponents are hitting just 155 against him. He's got a strikeout to walk ratio of 4-1. So all the numbers right now are stacked in Soriano's corner.
And to add to that, his career numbers against the Marlins, his career ERA against the Marlins is 1.26.
Cody Ross, John Baker, and a pinch hitter.
He's got a good live fastball. He'll mainly throw fastballs and sliders. And he's one of those guys, you really can't teach it, but he's hard to pick up. So his fastball is jumping in on you in a hurry.
He was a minor league outfielder in Seattle's system who couldn't hit, but they loved his arm. And he's become an outstanding reliever. When he's healthy, he's had some injury issues, but right now he is healthy and he is nails. And he's fallen behind 3-0 on Cody Ross.
That can happen. So you have John Baker on deck. Probably Ross Claude to pinch hit.
There's Glode. Not a lot of walks from Soriano. But there's his first of the night. Ross trots down.
Remember, Rich, all those leadoff men at one point, 10 in a row end of San Diego, first part of LA, and that trip. 10 in a row leadoff men that reached came in to score for the Marlins. They need to get this leadoff walk around to at least tie.
Just 17 walks.
Let's see what Carlos Tosca has John Baker doing here.
Bake squares. Soriano delivers. Baker pulls it down that first baseline. Soriano flips to first. And the Marlins have moved the tying run in scoring position with Ross. And now you've got a couple of lefty bats to take 2 shots at it, Glode and Coghlan.
Well, and that's exactly the point. A great job by John Baker. Made it look easy. And now you give yourself 2 shots. You have matchups in your favor, lefties against the righties. You give yourself 2 shots to at least tie it.
Glode has been one of the more successful pinch hitters in the National League this year.
This is an area that the Marlins have struggled tonight. Just 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position.
That's down low. Soriano not real pleased, but that's been the strike zone all night. 2 for 2. A couple of those offers. And there's Bobby Cox barking at home plate umpire Jerry Meals. Glode goes after that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 1-1. A couple of the offers with runners in scoring position were strikeouts of Hanley Ramirez. Ross,
pretty good speed, good base runner at second, Cody Ross.
Got some pretty good arms out there. Church in right.
Yes.
McLeod in center. Anderson in left. Two and 1.
I think Los was hoping perhaps for a 12-2 laugher. That hasn't been the case.
There's that 1 for 10. That's in. So Soriano had walked just 16 in 45 appearances. He walked Ross. Baker lays down the bunt, and he's 3-1 on Glode. Three-one coming. Glode drives it to right field, hits it deep. Back goes Church.
Got a chance.
Gone! Ball game! Walk off! Ross Glode!
Oh, there you go, Los.
How about that for a laugher?
Wow. Wow, he's had some great pinch hit at bats. He's patient. He's intense. And he has home run power. What a finish. And to do it against, as you pointed out, Rich, one of the hottest closers in baseball.
The Marlins beat the Braves in dramatic fashion. Ross Glode, a 2-run pinch hit homer. On a night where the Marlins couldn't do the little things right, they do a big thing right.
He got himself in a great hitter's count. He's a tremendous fastball hitter down out over the plate, and that's exactly what he got from Soriano. Now, you can do all that, but then you have to do something with it, and he did something with it.
And he's down below with Craig Minervini. Craig?
I want to do that, and I want to get taking the helmet off.
All right, Ross Cologne.